Issue lawmakers tackled this week was diversity, equity, and inclusion, also known as DEI. Legislators passed a bill eliminating all DEI practices here in the state. 3 News Side's Quentin Smith joins us now after hearing with state leaders from both sides of the aisle.
That's right, Howard. This bill prevents all public schools, colleges, and universities from using any DEI practices when it comes to academic and employment opportunities. Schools risk losing state funds if they do not comply. As you can imagine, this legislation is drawing heated and mixed reviews from people on both sides. This is the piece of legislation banning DEI practices from all public schools, colleges, and universities, saying educational and employment opportunities must be based solely on individual merit, qualifications, and academic performance without consideration of an individual's views on diversity, equity, and inclusion. The bill also eliminates what it calls divisive concepts, which is defined as anything dealing with race, sex, color, ethnicity, gender identity, sexual orientation, religion, or national origin. If a school does not comply, then state grants or money shall be withheld until the school or institution complies with the provisions of this act.
This bill as a whole is not aimed at destroying diversity in our institutions.
Senator Tyler McCon is one of the authors of the bill. He says this legislation was created to eliminate any discrimination and to also give schools guidelines on the things they can and cannot do when it comes to these practices.
As a whole, I believe that we're going to be seeing maybe some additional shifts in some curriculum, maybe some offices, but as a whole, I hope that our institutions have already taken a lot of the steps to get this on out. So we're hoping that at this point, this legislation will just fully and finally eliminate that from our school setting and focus back on the merit-based curriculum.
However, not all lawmakers see it that way.
We're taking steps back when we should be moving forward.
State Representative Justice Gibbs voted against the bill. He believes this will have a negative impact on schools and the state.
There are lawmakers up here that want to satisfy Trump, they want to satisfy the Trump administration, and yet I believe that sometimes they're pushing pieces of legislation that are not within the best interest of this state, but it's simply because Donald Trump wants them to pass these pieces of legislation. So I don't think that this moves us in the right direction. I think that if anything, this continues to divide us in this state.
So now that the legislation has passed out of both chambers, it'll head over to the governor's desk. Governor Tate Reeves says he will look over this bill and he plans to sign it into law within the next 15 to 20 days. Quentin Smith, 3 on your side.